the IRS is mainly coming after the people who are looking at fraud. So if you're looking at NFTs, I would just put that as a collectible. Collectibles are taxed lower than income, but higher than capital gains, normally about 28%. So in good faith, that's how you would do NFTs.
So real quick question. Currently, the IRS says that crypto in general is taxed like property. So then would that fall under the same thing for NFTs as well? I know you mentioned collectibles, like, because people are then trading NFTs for NFTs, like trading packs and things of that nature, like NBA Top Shots and other things. So any ideas on how that works per se?
Yeah, I would still look at it as property, but I would look at it as a collectible property. Collectibles are taxed differently than like real estate and stocks and things of that nature. So it's a little higher, but it's still lower than income. So I would put it as a collectible, which is 28% about.
Oh yeah, and one more thing. Lost crypto or lost Bitcoin, what's going to happen with that if somebody says, hey, yeah, I had a Bitcoin, but I lost it. I lost the keys to it. What will happen there? Because I know some people may have had that issue, and they may be scared out of the fact that they don't know how to report that.
Yeah, so as a capital gain, you can only take $3,000 capital loss. However, this is considered property. So what I've told people to do is in good faith to write it off as a casualty loss. Historically, depending on what year, every year the tax code changes. So there's years you can do it, some years you can't. I've also suggested if you couldn't do a casualty loss, then you take a business loss. And if you get audited, explain the situation in good faith. Like King Bless said, like the chance of you getting audited are small. However, if you're looking at $100,000 loss and you're doing carryback losses to other years that you took gains, chances are you're going to have somebody look into it. But in good faith, you honestly lost it, you can prove it. So even if you lose the case, you shouldn't get in trouble for fraud or for interest. So to me, it's worth the risk to say, hey, this was a business loss, and write it off against your taxes for this year, and possibly to carry it back to further, behind years, or to carry it further forward to other years, just depending on everybody's individual situation. But I would suggest to write it off.
And one last thing on that with CJ, if you're like you kind of said, the bottom line is this, people, for them to actually go after you, let's say they audit you, you get audited, you get in trouble, they want to take you to trial, jail time, fines, that all costs money. So essentially, if you feel like you've made enough, and we all know, you pulled out 30, 40, 50K out of crypto this year, pay the man, all right? Just pay him, keep him off your back. That's the gang, all right? But by and large, if it's more than that and you're trying to do something fraudulent, or if you're not trying to do anything fraudulent or anything, it takes money. The government, it takes the money to actually prosecute you and fine you. So if it's not worth their time to actually take you to court, if it's not worth taxpayers' dollars, then they're not essentially worried about you, because they will lose money on taking you to trial. But again, if you are making thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, then they would not lose money taking you to trial. It would actually be beneficial to the taxpayer dollars to fine you. So that's something to kind of consider. If you're not making enough money for them to fine you in this space, there's nothing to really worry about. If you are, you definitely should report that.
Yeah, I think there's multiple ways to look at it. So people that are, like you said, if it's lender at 50,000, you pay them, and the trick is just check the box yes, and in good faith make sure you have a good estimate, because their goal right now is to find fraud. So if you have a transaction over $10,000, that gets sent directly to the IRS, and if you don't have an audit trail for where that $10,000 came from, that's the easiest way to get popped for an audit. I know I've had clients that they've made millions in crypto out of nowhere, and they try to buy Bentleys, Ferraris, Lambos, and the second that they buy that transaction gets sent to the IRS, and they're going to say, where'd you get this money? And if you say, well, I got it from Bitcoin, you can't tax me, that's when they send a field agent. So just in good faith, report it. If you're off by some bits, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, could you say that one more time for everybody? So talk to them about the box on the front of the form, and then just talk about how they can retroactively go back if you've committed fraud. Could you talk about that one more time? Because I had a gentleman who was literally arguing me to death, like they're never gonna catch me, and I was just like, and you're saying this on a social media platform that is probably recording everything you're doing. So could you say something to that, CJ?
Yeah, so they've progressively become more aggressive when it comes to cryptocurrency taxes. In 2019, they had a box on Schedule 1 saying, did you buy, sell, acquire, or do any transactions with virtual currency? And in this year for 2020, they moved it to the very first page. Therefore, everybody has to say either A, they had a transaction, or B, they didn't. And to me, what this represents is a question saying, hey, are you being honest or are you being fraudulent? We don't have the technology yet to really come after you. However, we will. And if you say no, and when we do our back traces for an infinite amount of years, because if you commit fraud, they can come after you for an infinite amount of years. They can come after you in 50 years for you checking that box no, and they find out, hey, you actually had 3 transactions worth $100,000. That's fraud. And then depending on their rules in 50 years, they might be able to say, well, we're not going to penalize you for the fair market value from 2020. We're going to do it for the year 2070. And who knows how much Bitcoin may be. And we don't know how much interest and penalties they may put out. So the best thing to do, if you've done any type of crypto, I would just put yes, regardless if all you've done is buy. I would just hit yes. Just keep them off your back. Make sure you didn't make any mistakes. So just hit yes. And then unless you've done like some serious transactions, I wouldn't really, you might not need to file a 8949, which is the form that you fill out for every one of your transactions. You should be able to just use your 1099. However, if you're making a lot of money, over $40,000, $50,000, even to meet over $10,000, those 1099s may not be accurate in your best interest. They'll keep you compliant with the IRS, but you may be paying a whole lot more taxes because they don't know what wallet you're sending your money to. So if you send your money from Coinbase to a cold wallet, they don't know if you're sending that money for goods or services. So they'll consider that a taxable event, even though it's not. So the 1099 should keep you compliant to keep the IRS off your back. But when you hire a cryptocurrency CPA who can really delve into that, that's how you lower your taxes that you owe.
Yeah, thank you for that, CJ, man.
I think the key thing you said, it's going to be infinite if you don't file. But if you do file, they have 3 years to catch you, right? I'm not saying that you're doing something wrong, but they have 3 years to find the mistakes, right?
Yeah, it's 3 years if it's not considered fraudulent and less than 25%. So what a lot of people do is they'll raise their cost basis in order to pay less capital gains taxes, or they'll underreport their income. And so if you're doing one of those things, then they actually have 6 years to come after you. But typically, if you're just making a small mistake, they only have 3 years. That's why I say have good faith and just try your best. That's why I created my very first class on the U.Sunjoin, and I had it only at $10 so that you guys could see, it's really not that bad. You follow these steps. Isaiah had mentioned how they do airdrops. Airdrops are income. And in that class, I put not exactly how to do it, but I labeled it the schedule you're supposed to put. So all these different things, all these different types of crypto income have a different schedule that you're supposed to be filing. However, most of it's not that difficult. You just have to follow the rules. Where it gets difficult is when you start making a whole bunch of money and you don't want to pay a bunch of taxes. So it becomes a specialty. And that's why you want to keep an ongoing ledger so that you essentially have an audit trail. So if you do get audited, you already have your trail, you give it to them, and you basically tell them to kick rocks.
Thank you, CJ. Oh, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I was going to say you can, what I do every year, I've been filing taxes on crypto every year since 2017. You can import some files, I think, from like Coinbase, maybe some other major exchanges. And I was told that you have to pay a capital gain before you can take a capital loss. So in 2018, I took a capital loss. Does that sound accurate, CJ?
Yeah, you can only take a $3,000 capital loss per year. You may be able to carry it back. You may be able to carry it forward depending on which crypto year or depending on where you're at in the country. When COVID happened, before COVID, Trump pretty much closed all the loopholes, but then made it really easy to do things And then when COVID happened, he unleashed all the loopholes possible. So there's so many different ways to legally avoid paying taxes in crypto that it's almost like if you are trying to commit fraud, it's almost like an internal issue, because there's lots of ways to avoid it this year. However, in the future, there probably won't be so many ways to avoid it. So you could take a $3,000 capital loss this year, but there's other ways to avoid it as well.
CJ, last piece, right? For people that are using like centralized finance, right? CFI, exchanges such as Nexo, Celsius, it's good for people to note that if you're earning interest on those platforms, to also count that. But if you have taken out a loan on those platforms and things, then you can write off the interest that you are paying on your taxes to sort of kind of offset it.
Yeah, correct. So any interest that you are paying on a loan can be offset against the interest that you're receiving. You can't write off more interest than you received. However, like if you're using Nexo or Celsius or BlockFi, typically they're giving you a high interest rate. So those can offset. I normally try to make sure that they're about equal by the end of the year, because I don't like paying taxes either. I like to avoid them, but you have to make sure you report the things that you need to report.
CJ, I got another question for you. When it comes to cryptocurrency and cost basis, are you able to adjust your basis on Bitcoin for like your Ledger wallet, or if you're using a service like Casa and things like that, and add that to your cost basis?
Your cost basis never changes. Your cost basis is what you buy the cryptocurrency at, like the units and the USD equivalent, plus the fees. So fees are included in your cost basis. And you're going to have a different cost basis for every purchase or every time you receive it. So if you're using like a Swan Bitcoin, or you're buying Bitcoin on a daily basis, the different strategies to lower your tax rate would be HIFO, FIFO, LIFO, or specific identification. FIFO is the default and the most easiest. HIFO is normally beneficial if you don't want to pay taxes right now. However, in the future, it may hurt you. But then specific identification is the for sure way that you want to do it. If you're making a lot of money, it's almost a no-brainer. If you're making more than $10,000-$15,000 in crypto, it's almost a no-brainer that you'd want to use specific identification. However, it's very time-consuming, it's boring, and it's a lot of work. It's very tedious. However, if you're trying to save some thousands of dollars, that's the route to go.
Man, this is great, CJ, man. And listen, we at the 15-minute mark, so I wanted to switch it up just a little bit. I know we've been talking about the taxes, so I want to also ask the question of how can we defer some of our capital gains? Are there vehicles that we can use to defer some of those capital gains? Are there? I mean, of course, people have asked about offshore accounts, and I also had a question because it's property. If let's say I sell Bitcoin to someone at a cheaper price, or let's say I sell one of the cryptos at a price that's not on the market, right? I sell it hand to hand, and I keep track of it. And there's receipts of it. Does that still count as my basis for when I sold it? Because I mean, or will the government say, well, the market price was this, and you sold it under market, so we don't believe you? You know what I'm saying?
As long as it doesn't look suspicious, then you should be good. Lots of times you sell things under market or over market. The cost basis is what you bought it for plus the fees, and then what you sell it for is what you sell it for. The difference is your profit or loss in terms of capital gains. When it comes to offshore, that's normally when you want to start hiring a lawyer. Right now they have like the FinBar, where if you have like other properties or other assets over $10,000, you have to report that to the IRS. Crypto has not historically been a piece of that. However, they're trying to make that a part of the plan going forward. Is if you have more than $10,000 worth of crypto overseas, or you cash out overseas, then you have to report that. But there are plenty of ways to defer crypto. Like one of the biggest ways is through nonprofits. So creating a nonprofit typically takes between 6 to 8 months to create. So if you guys want to go that route, this would be the time. Say if you bought Bitcoin at 10,000 and now it's at 50,000. If you then transfer your crypto into a nonprofit organization, the cost basis doesn't matter anymore because it was a donation. And when they receive it, as long as they use that crypto towards the purpose that's in the in their operating agreement, then that's a perfect way to avoid taxes. However, if you're using that money that you put into the nonprofit for anything other than the purpose of it, purpose meaning like education, helping the elderly, giving to people food, things of that nature, then that can create a whole bigger issue. So there are plenty of ways to defer on the capital gains, as well as you can take capital gains from crypto and you can offset that against capital losses on stocks. There's lots of ways to do it. You just got to be strategic.
So CJ, so you're telling me, and I just want to make sure we explain it for everybody. So you're telling me if I'm saying, hey, I made a lot of money last year, but I'm going to take some of this Bitcoin and send it to a nonprofit, and then I can deduct what I gave to the nonprofit. They'll give me a receipt for the value of it, and I can deduct that from my actual income. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and then the nonprofit doesn't have to pay any type of taxes on it because it's a donation. So there we go. So the best way, what I normally tell people is if you Lamar Wilson have a LLC and you have a nonprofit, that's the best way to keep the money circulating legally without having to pay a whole bunch of taxes, or at least legally avoiding your taxes. However, you want to make sure it's as organized as possible. You don't want to be moving funds back and forth all willy-nilly because that can be considered commingling, which can get you into worse trouble. However, if you have it structured correctly, your LLC's money is LLC's money, Lamar Wilson's money is Lamar Wilson's money, and then nonprofit Lamar is non-profit Lamar, you should be good to go. You can move your profits into your nonprofit, let it grow, and as long as you're using that funds in the nonprofit towards your purpose, then you never pay taxes on your crypto.
Oh,
however,
my gosh.
we don't know how long that's going to last.
So I got a question though, CJ.
That's dope.
Yeah, here's the question though, CJ.
If you need it,
Here's the question really quick. I know Greg was ready to speak. I'm sorry about that, but I just have a question really quickly about that. I'm not thinking about making a nonprofit at all. But one thing I was thinking is because now you have so much appreciation in, like you said, if you bought in November, it was probably about 10,000. Was it November or October? It wasn't that long ago. We was at $10,000 of Bitcoin. And then now you're sitting at $50,000 of Bitcoin. So you're telling me that somebody could take a fraction of what they have and say they want to drop their tax bracket down a little bit and they need to get a $20,000 loss. So they can take a little bit of that. I wouldn't tell anybody to sell their Bitcoin, but they could take a little bit of their cryptocurrency that they have at the price that it is, because now of course it's less of them, right? You don't have to use as many of them to get to 20,000, and they can sell that, give it to a nonprofit, not take the tax, but then take the $20,000 off their income. Like, it sounds like stuff that things that have been held from us, CJ. It sounds like you're telling us secrets or something, man. Is that what's going on here?
I mean, less than 1% of CPAs are black. So
it's been secrets.
Yeah, you've definitely been held out from secrets. The thing is, the rules change almost every year. So, I mean, unless you are literally keeping up with the rules, I wouldn't beat yourself up over it, because the rules were different last year. They were different the year before that, and they changed throughout the year. So as a CPA, I'm required to take CPE, like continuing professional education courses. So I'm always up to date with what's going on. That's why when they talked about there being a specific task force for crypto, I was already aware of that, because Don Fort was one of the people who created that class, and he's a stickler for crypto. It seems like he hates it with all his guts, and he's trying to make sure that people aren't sending their money overseas. That's why they created that task force with 5 different countries. So if you send your money to like a Canada, to the US, to the Europe, or to Australia, or to, I think it was the Netherlands, then they're tracking all of that, even if you think they're not. So there's lots of stuff that's been withheld from you guys. That's why I try to bring that value to you guys, because I wouldn't want you guys to read all this stuff because I don't always want to read it, but that's what I do.
Hey, CJ,
I was gonna say, Lamar, can I suggest if you want to donate to a nonprofit, there you can donate Bitcoin. Virtual Bitcoin summer camp. I'll be teaching this summer. Innovative Learning in Charlotte, North Carolina. Shout out to Najee Roberts, the first crypto camp in the United States, and we'll be bringing it to the East Coast. So you can donate Bitcoin on bitgive.org, and we'll be teaching over 100 students and their parents about Bitcoin this summer. So if you want to decrease your your tax liability, that's one way, and you can donate Bitcoin.
Here's the thing. So this is what I'm gonna tell all of y'all, right? I think this is a strategy. I'm gonna run it through CJ. CJ knows that every time I throw strategies that I'm thinking of in my head out in the open, and then CJ shuts me down or whatever. So everybody that's listening, here's the strategy, right? So say, like we said before, that you are going to go sell a little bit of your profited Bitcoin, not even sell it. You're going to give a little bit of that Bitcoin directly to the nonprofit. Well, if you have the same amount of money in cash, at the same time you give to the nonprofit, you buy the same amount of Bitcoin back. So you're not really losing your Bitcoin basis, but you're still able to take the $20,000 off because you donated it to a charity. Is this correct, CJ? Could I buy at the same time I give?
Okay, so say if you've been buying Bitcoin every day for 10 days, you can choose which Bitcoin that you give. So in theory, yes, you can give the lowest cost basis. Therefore, that would offset taxes when you give that to them. And then if you buy new, you can buy it at whatever price it's at. So technically, yes. However, the crypto that you donated has to stay within the nonprofit.
No, that's fine. That's what I'm saying. Because the biggest part for me is I don't want to get rid of any of my hypothetical Bitcoin. Remember, everyone that listens, I don't have any Bitcoin. So I don't want to give away any of my hypothetical Bitcoin, but I can give it away if I come back behind it with the same amount of cash, right? So now I've put myself in a position where I can take it off of my income and still have the same amount of Bitcoin. And if you get a flow like that going, now I see why you see all of these huge corporations and like CEOs giving so much to nonprofits, because they playing the game. So, man, listen, y'all, this is some huge stuff right here. Like what CJ's telling people, because if we're going to be black Bitcoin billionaires and we get to the billionaire part, like we're going to have to know these types of strategies to make sure that we mitigate our tax pressure, our tax exposure. So good stuff, CJ, man. And listen, somebody on Facebook asked a question while we were talking about this, and I don't want to wait till the question answer time to do it because they just said it. They said, what about on a decentralized exchange? Can you avoid I know what CJ's answer going to be because I love how conservative he is. But somebody said, can you avoid paying taxes if you use a decentralized exchange?
No, because that wouldn't be considered avoiding. That'd be considered evasion.
Right.
You're still supposed to report that. But that's where a lot of these problems come in, is that a lot of these exchanges, a lot of these wallets, they don't even give transactions. I know I was on eToro doing my class, and I liked eToro. However, when I was on it, they didn't give out any transactions. So you have to go in there and do it, hand by hand. However, like a Lolly was great. Like their export is magnificent. But there's times where you use like a Chinese type of exchange, and they don't report it, the same way we do. They use different rules. So you've got all these different exchanges with all these different formats, different rules for different countries. It's a complete mess. But that's why typically people hire me, so that I can sort it all out for them. But to answer the question is no. If you use DeFi, you're still supposed to report that, no matter how difficult it is.
And then somebody said it's no different than any other charity donation. And I just want to speak back against that, because it is a little bit different, because Bitcoin, whenever you transfer it to someone else, usually is a taxable event. But if you take that and put it into a nonprofit, then it's no longer a taxable event, which is really, really cool. Go ahead, Fred.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, tagging on what Isaiah said, being the new ED for Crypto Kids Camp, which is a nonprofit organization, make sure y'all donate over to cryptokidscamp.org. We have that available where you can set up and send some Bitcoin too. So we're just trying to help y'all out. If y'all want to donate some Bitcoin over there.
Man,
appreciate it.
Beautiful morning, man. It's amazing. Did y'all hear? I just want to reiterate what Fred said again. Fred, could you say that one more time? You are the what?
I'm the new executive director of Crypto Kids Camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's give that man. Look, you try to slide that in there. Let's give that man a round of applause, man. He's the new executive director. Yeah. Look at this. Black Bitcoin billionaires coming together, working together. That's awesome.
Hey, we got a summer camp on the East Coast and the West.
Exactly. Hey, we coming everywhere. Just letting you know that now. So we coming to a city near you. So send those donations because we're definitely going to try to do this big in all the major cities. We got a lot of things planned. So just stay tuned. We're definitely going to need ambassadors in all of your cities, all your hoods. We're coming there. So look forward to that. We're going to be building a lot of different things in the blockchain and STEM and fintech space. So just like I said, be sure to stay tuned for a lot of that. You can go to the website cryptokidscamp.org for a lot more additional information.
So listen, you guys, y'all know what this is. We hit the halfway mark. This is the Black Bitcoin Billionaires Club. Genesis Block live every Monday at 11 o'clock Eastern, right after the Gentleman of Crypto at 10 o'clock on YouTube. So this second half, the first half, we kind of talked about taxes and talked about how to work with taxes. This is tax season. We know the actual tax filing date is coming upon us. But now, just given what we've been talking about right now, and we see that we have, my wife's about to burn the house down. I think y'all can hear that, right? No, but here's the thing. Y'all see that one thing that I'm noticing from the Black Bitcoin Billionaires is that a lot of people in here really didn't know each other at first, especially through the moderators. And what I'm seeing is this camaraderie. So what I want to do is I want to get Miss Naja, Fred, and Isaiah to talk about this kids camp and what they're doing, because I want to give them the shine that they deserve. They've been talking about it from a donation standpoint, but I want to talk about why it's important to educate our kids in our communities, those kind of things. I ain't gonna steal nobody's thunder. So I want to just give a shout out to Miss Naja for creating it, and then also having the foresight to work with other people to make this thing huge. So can y'all talk about that? I know I'm putting you on the spot, but can you talk about that for our audience?
Well, I'll start with the virtual Bitcoin summer camp that I described in Charlotte. It'll be by Innovative Learning, which is an after school and summer camp that's been around for 25 years. Just so happens to be ran by my mother. So she's been a big part of the community. I helped her with BitGive, get a partnership, and we're raising $10,000 to teach that summer camp. And of course, looking to work with Naja, Fred, and anybody else who wants to be a speaker. Justin, he'll be there full time, and then anybody else who wants to teach the kids in person or via Zoom, we'll be doing that. So definitely a way to get kids the information without having to go through public school, because I don't think they'll include Bitcoin in any of the conversations.
Good. Oh, right. And I had to get to a quiet space real quick, but absolutely. So thank you. And Isaiah, that sounds absolutely phenomenal. Looking forward to working with you all. But what we did was we said bye-bye STEM, hello beast mode. And for us, it's important that our children that are in STEM and STEAM get the extension of the technology that they need. So beast mode actually stands for blockchain, evolution of money, which is cryptocurrency. Then we have the A for artificial intelligence, S is security, and then we do the cyber to the side. The T for technology, the M is machine learning, and we get into why machine learning and us learning machine learning is so important for the new programs that are coming out, because it helps not eliminate Black folks from the equation. And the M is also for mining. Our children do mining, and then online gaming. D apps and decentralization is the D, and E is engineering. So when our children leave the camp, they have a cell phone, phone specifically for cryptocurrency, a laptop, a drone, a mining machine that they build. They build all these things. And then they also have a robot. And so we just spend the entire week just trying to immerse the children. And our goal is to actually make sure that the children are exposed to each one of the different technologies, so it gives the parents a better opportunity to figure out exactly what their child likes, because a lot of times we find children are going straight into coding, and a lot of kids don't like coding. Well, they need to know the basics, so that's a given, but we also want to just kind of hone in on what the children like the most and just help their parents go in that direction. So that was the purpose of us exposing them to all those different types of technologies during that camp.
Oh, that's awesome. And then Fred, somebody just hit us up on Facebook, and they said, can I talk to Fred about bringing the camp to Atlanta? So you got the East Coast, the West Coast. Now she's trying to come down south, and that's
definitely. I'm all for it. I've already started looking into a couple of places in the South already. So, and Atlanta is one of them. So we'll be, like I said, we'll be coming to a city near you real soon.
Yeah, Gia Gay said, what is the age limit for the camp?
We're doing 5 to 17 right now.
Man, that's big. That's huge. So, Miss Naja, just really quickly, I know you are already kind of running it, like you said, with the beast mode. What are some of the benefits you've seen, or some of the headways you've been able to make in some of these kids' lives?
Well, starters, for me, there's been a lot of different benefits. Just one, and I know we don't talk about alternative coins, but our kids built a sky miner. And I think one of the biggest things is just actually opening our children's eyes to understand that there are more occupations than just what, we see, doctors and lawyers and some of those things, and start to give them a bigger idea of what technology is. And so with them having Alexa and some of these other things, it just makes them start to think more creative about being the producer and not the actual consumer. And so those are some of the benefits. And then we're learning, because of, we're working inner city, that, a lot of our children don't even have internet. So where I was going with the alternative coins is our kids built a sky miner. That sky miner has been mining sky coin since they built it back, since all of them built it back in 2019 at all of our camps. And the price of sky coin has actually gone up. But the children are mining. They're able to see those things on their crypto cell phone. So it's helping them understand kind of like the coin ecosystem. And they were given a ton of other coins by vendors that came in to actually make sure they had them. But Skycoin itself was designed, of course, to build like a mesh net where you're able to give your neighbors internet for $5. So really just helping our kids understand that the cryptocurrency ecosystem stemming from Bitcoin is about helping people and making a right for the wrongs that are in the world, that exist in the world. And so again, just really getting them to start thinking a little bit more than just about self, but what can I add to the community? And so, at that time I was a coinaholic anyway, but but Skycoin really has opened up their minds, because what we're doing, we'll have the first Skycoin mesh net on our building to give internet to our surrounding community. So it's really, and we can do that in places like Mount Bayou, Mississippi, which is actually one of the poorest Black cities in America. And so we're doing those types of things to make sure we bring internet speed, just internet, period. Because we're always talking about, and again, this all comes into crypto, it's the ecosystem, but there's just certain things and certain projects that can happen that actually will benefit our communities more than others. And so that's what we're just trying to open up these kids' eyes so they have a fighting chance. And I say it all the time, because I speak a lot of places, and everywhere I go, our Black men are not even just our Black men now, but our Black men, our grandmothers, our security guards. And it's killing me that we haven't as the people really focused on not just understanding how to pick up the cell phone and use it, but how to program them and create and do all of these things. And on the whole, and I'm not, I can't say a whole blanket situation, but what I do see is that we need to get our kids technologically savvy in almost everything so that they can create and produce, and they will be the next billionaires. It's happening. So that's my take on it.
Yeah. So
you know what?
I'm sorry. We got a real quick question though. Somebody said, I have kiddos I'm caring for at the present. I missed the areas of the camp. Was Los Angeles mentioned? That is reachable for our family. Any chance of heading out that way? So Miss Hassani, she is directly in Los Angeles, Inglewood. She's in Inglewood, California right now. So,
let me say something to that sister and
yes,
to everybody
yes,
else
ma'am.
on the phone. We have had kids in our camp that flew in from Spain. We have had kids who came down from other states or all the way from the top of California. Their parents spent 2 weeks in the hotel to make sure that their kids get this education. So it's like, it's incredible. It's literally incredible. And they didn't care nothing about being in the neighborhood. They wanted to make sure that their kids were exposed to all of these different technologies. And so it's incredible.
In Inglewood, up to all the good. That's what it is.
Hey, can I say something to what Nadia was saying? Because I think I shared it with a few people here, something I was reading. And, like she said, we're always the security guards, or we're always the janitors, or we're always somewhere where we're nowhere near the top. And this starts reflecting into our numbers as a race of not having generational wealth. And I love how it starts with the children. And if I can, there's reports saying that industries would vastly change, over time, and it won't just be for children. Because there's a misnomer that people think all these electronics and whatnot going to take jobs. However, what's going to happen is people can be retrained to do things, but will they take over the opportunity to do so? And that's where our world is, really, really uniquely headed. It's a lot of different exponential technologies out here. And, I do want to focus on children. Children are dope, but there are still a lot of adults who can very, very much so benefit from not saying, blockchain or Bitcoin stuff, but where the world is headed in general, like being here. And the reasons we are all those regular jobs, because we as a people were always pushed or going towards things that were more consistent and not risky. We never looked at where the world was headed. We was always given where the world was, where we could stay solid or set. And that's where I really hope, us as Black Bitcoin Billionaires Group, or people who have their own groups, really, start thinking of, not even start thinking, hell, I can't say that. We start presenting new ways for people to establish wealth within this new decade, because the things we've been doing, we're, in my opinion, we chased crumbs that were left over from the other 1% that is now available. And since you have the internet, since you're here in Bitcoin, you have the opportunity to be on those platforms, no matter where you are. Granted, you might not have the money, but your talent will show. And that's where we got to really start looking our eyes towards, because we cannot continuously keep running towards shit that is in the 20th century and then wondering why we're still behind, because it's not just the fact that, we don't have the wealth. It's because our focus is on stuff that is safe. And when you start focusing on things that are safe, you just start staying in a rut. And that's really my 2 Satoshis. And I just wanted to build on top of what Ms. Nadia said, because it is more stuff out here. Like people start businesses that are going extinct. Like I put out a tweet the other day that said car insurance, the business model of the car insurance industry is going to vastly change, especially when you don't have humans driving cars. So think about where this world is going. Open your mind up to the future stuff. And, as a whole, as a Black people as a whole, we can't be afraid of tech because it's not going nowhere.
That's actually how I got into this space originally. When I was listening to Lamar talk on Wacoinda, like in 2017, 2018, he was talking about the blockchain and how it keeps track of all the transactions. And I just realized, oh, this technology is going to put a lot of CPAs, a lot of accountants out of business if they don't know how to adjust to the new technology. And it's going to do that for lawyers who don't know how to create contracts on the blockchain. It's going to do that for a whole lot of industries. So, I definitely salute Justin for that, because we need to be looking in the future and say, okay, this is where the world's headed. Let's make sure our kids are trained in that direction.
Hey, CJ, can I jump in, Lamar, for a quick second? I'm sorry.
Yeah, of course.
It actually worked out because when you said my name earlier, the judge called my name too, so I had to get off. But I wanted to go back a little bit. I love where we went in terms of giving to the nonprofit. I'm aware of that, but I wanted to see if CJ could address two things: the use of getting, because I know we can use this as an investment tool, but the use of getting an LLC. To be able to offset whatever expenses you may have, i.e., so let's look for an example. Let's say I have my Bitcoin and I'm able to justify, now my computer expenses, things like that. I can't do that as an individual, but I think I can do that under a corporation. If I guess the other thing I want to address was to make sure in when we talk about a nonprofit, just understanding that they do have specific rules under the nonprofit where you have to be careful, because if they begin to suspect that you're not following the purpose, that's a big issue. And if they suspect that you're using the nonprofit as a for-profit vehicle, that's a big issue. So I just want to see if we could get some of that, because I don't want anybody going away today thinking, oh, this is a way. But it is a way we get tax advantages, right? So if you could address that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. So typically I tell people to put their long-term investments in one LLC, put their trading, their trading in another LLC, and keep both of those separate from your personal. And under each LLC, you should have a business bank account. To go to what you said is that if you can write off your computer and your office and things of that nature, yes, that's one of the advantages to putting it under LLC, is that you can write it off because it's a business. If you are trading cryptocurrencies, your computer is a part of your business. You are a sole proprietor or LLC or S corporation, whichever way you want to set it up, business entity wise. But yes, so I highly suggest to all my clients that you put your long-term investments under one LLC, your short-term or your trading investments under another LLC, and those should both have their respective bank accounts, which are separate from your personal. And if you're really trying to avoid it, that's where you create the nonprofit, not necessarily to use it as a for-profit vehicle, because like Greg said, he's a lawyer. That's illegal. However, if you have a purpose in this world and you're trying to give back, that's the way that you do it. Some people do it through churches, some people do it through nonprofits, but typically, at least in the Christian faith, you're supposed to give 10% of, whatever you make. But why would you want to pay taxes on that before you give it? Why not just avoid the taxes altogether and, save yourself some taxes, help some people out, and, do everything legal. So that's my 2 Satoshis on it.
Yeah, that's really big. And just for the record, Greg's not only a lawyer, but he's also a pastor. So I'm sure that he would take some offering as well.
Absolutely.
in Bitcoin. No, but it's so funny, y'all. Like, I was thinking about this the other day, and I said it in one of the rooms. I was like, if you think about like the building fund at a lot of churches, imagine if churches started taking the building fund, and Zay talks about this in Bitcoin in Black America, not the building fund, but taking some of the offerings and bought Bitcoin. But what made me really think about it is that there's a church in Lower Manhattan that owns a lot of land, right? Because they were so old, they've been there for so long, and they didn't sell, and they own a lot of land that they lease out, and they're like one of the richest churches in the world. There's some Episcopal church. A gentleman was talking to me about it, actually about last Friday. And I started thinking to myself, I was like, the reason why that worked out for them is because Manhattan, of course, is a valuable piece of property because they're not making any more and a lot of people want to be there. So the demand is outpacing the supply. So imagine if churches started taking the same approach to Bitcoin, and they started sitting on a lot in their own treasury, so to speak. They started sitting on a lot of Bitcoin. And we know, we as black folk, we give a lot of money to the church. And if the church decided to start doing that, man, I think we'd have a huge, like I said, go check out Bitcoin in Black America. I don't know if Zay wrote. Zay, did you write about it again in the second version?
I think you had to step out.
Oh, Zay had a dip.
Hey, them pastors would be flying around in private spaceships if they bought Bitcoin.
No, man. I'm talking about the pastors that ain't trying to use it for that. You understand what I'm saying? The ones that are putting it back in. Yeah, I already got you, man.
Hey, if they really took that path, over the last decade, they could have already reimbursed the people 3 to 4 to 5x what they put in, and still had 10 to 20x profits from what they already instilled. My dad used to be a deacon in the church. He told me that they had like over $100,000 in the bank account, and it only grew by 10 or 30 cents per year. So I don't know. One day we had that conversation about just the churches putting in their tithes into Bitcoin and how that could change the black communities as far as with the church, because we do put a lot of money in the church weekly. So that would be a lot of that right there in itself would be a change for the community.
Absolutely. And if you think about the possibilities, the church can then be the place that loans out home loans and different things like that, where people don't have to depend on the bank. So it would just be awesome if pastors would actually adopt it and really understand how to hold Bitcoin in their endowment fund. So that's what we're working on.
Greg, you ready?
I'm ready, brother. I'm ready. No, I agree with that totally. I think, I've seen in my lifetime 2 church, maybe 3 that had a credit union that were very progressive in their thought process. And they were, they had so many funds coming in that they not only built, senior citizen facility, they had apartments, they were very progressive in their thought process. And it was great because they can now finance the members of the church for cars and whatever. So it's just kind of creating your own system within the system. And I think that's now it's no problem to give, right? When we got to give to the homeless. By the way, Miss Naja, let's come to Houston too. Let's do the H-Town. I know we out here, so let's look at doing a camp out here. But I think it just really is a mindset change. And I think as it becomes more progressive, it really addresses some of the needs. And instead of the church, because think about it, you have the church looking at 2 ways. You have it either looking as a very impoverished place. That's why pastors are the only ones that have what's called they have an allowance, right? The only reason they have an allowance is because traditionally pastors didn't make any money. They were living in poverty, so they would give them a housing allowance to be able to manage. Now, obviously you have this new trend where you got pastors who got Bentleys and things that they didn't do on their own, that they directly came out of the church and were able to facilitate. And so, and still getting a housing benefit, so obviously we want a situation where things will be done up and up in the right perspective, and nothing against preachers or pastors out there progressively making their own money. But I think, when it becomes a thing where it's just making off the backs of the people in the church, to me, that's a problem too. So I try to go from the more progressive, let's figure out how to do business. Let's figure out how to embrace that thought process so we can do the right things while helping people in the community, while helping people in our state, our city and state, and then, of course, the country. And now we can help to help impact lives with that. So I think this is a great conversation we're having.
Yeah, so listen, you guys, I think we're right at the halfway point of the show. Thank you, experts, for being up here. Now anyone can raise their hand and come up on stage and ask your questions. We have a few questions from Facebook already, and usually we turn this section over to Miss Naja Roberts. Miss Naja, are you ready?
Yes, sir, I'm ready.
All right, so mods, please help me start bringing people up on stage to ask questions. And I have a question already from the Facebook. It says, "Is Crypto Kids Camp available in the Detroit, Michigan area?" Excuse me.
We absolutely. So you can go to cryptokidscamp.org and just put your interest card in there. But we are looking at the Detroit Pistons Stadium for that next camp. Yes.
Thank you. Back to you, Ms. Naja.
All right. And on
Hi,
Clubhouse, welcome
hi
to the
guys.
stage. Hi, Eduardo. Give us just a second. So, Hugh, welcome to the stage, Hugh.
Good morning. Thanks for inviting me to the stage. My question is, I would like to get into helping the community. I'm not interested in, making a lot of money. I do want to make some, but not a lot. I don't want to make a lot of money, but I am interested in helping the community. And I was wondering, for someone like myself, that's not really, I really don't need an extra income. But if I'm going to be a black billionaire, then I need an extra income. So, you know what I'm saying? So really what I'm trying to say, the rest of my life, I would like to help other people. And I want to get some input on that.
Absolutely. So, I don't know if any of our moderators want to take that. But Hugh, what I found in this space is that everybody's here to lend a hand. Whatever your specialty is, you just need to kind of reach out and let us know what you were doing prior to your retirement, what your skills are and what you bring, and we can definitely work around that and work with you to make sure that you're able to continue to help people and all the things that you want to do, because there's definitely enough home for all of us in the ecosystem.
So do I need to say that now, or just wait?
I guess to keep it rolling, what we can do is we can maybe have a conversation offline if you don't mind, and then we can kind of brainstorm and figure out what we need to do, if that's okay with you.
That's great. Thank you so very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Hugh, just look in my bio and send me a text message, and we'll get together and talk this sometime today, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
And then real quick, I brought somebody to the stage. Her name is Rochelle. She had reached out to me via Instagram and gave me a story. And so I kind of want her to share her story so that everybody can just be aware of some of these things. So Rochelle, can you please share your story?
Yes, thank you. Good morning, everyone. And this is hard for me to talk about because I am an educated person, and I allowed this to happen, but it's hard for me to talk about, but I'll make it brief. And if you could look at 360BinanceFX.com, you can see a little bit of what I'm talking about. So in January, when I first got into the Bitcoin talk here on Clubhouse, Isaiah Jackson was talking, and so I reached out to him, or he reached out to me on Instagram. I thought I mentioned to him that I didn't know anything about Bitcoin and was asking him some questions about it, and he was like, I can trade Bitcoin for you. And he sent me like shots of where he traded for other people and made money for other people, and and I'm thinking he's legit. I see him, he wrote books on Bitcoin. He's been on television. I've seen his interviews. I've seen his lives. And so I trusted him, and he sent me that link. I set up my account on that link, and he made the money. He made the money grow, or appeared to make the money grow. And I'm like, okay, he's legit. So, but something. Now that I look back, of course, I see all the signs, but it was like, he's a little unprofessional. But again, I kept seeing him on lives, and long story short, his account was hacked, and I fell into that trap. I got taken for my money, but if you look at the website, these hackers are like very sophisticated, because to me it looks like a legit website. I had to sign in. I put my password in. The sad part is that I over the time I developed this loathe for Isaiah Jackson, because I really thought it was him. And at the same time too, this account, in order to withdraw my money, I had to put my bank information in. And so they have access. They had access to my banking information. They had access to my passwords and things like that. So I just wanted to tell this story because I didn't want it to happen to anyone else. But they're getting very sophisticated, and then I have to. It really does something to your psyche as well, because it's like I said, I developed like a loathe for Isaiah Jackson, but I have to really get it in my mind, and it's been so long, for like 3 months, that I was like, okay, it wasn't him. And I reached out to CJ when I saw him post about Isaiah Jackson. I was like, do you know him? Like, how well do you know him? And and he showed me that he assured me it wasn't him, and that and he showed me how his real account. And so I just wanted to share that because I got taken and just didn't want it to happen to anyone else.
And you know what? Can I speak to that really quick?
Hold up.
Can I speak to that just real quick?
Yeah, I want to go after you.
Yeah, because here's the thing. There was another gentleman that hit me up and said, Lamar, I've been in this group with Zay, and I told Zay about it too. And I told him that I was like, nah, that's not Zay. I was like, that's probably not Zay at all. And he said he gave the guy like $5,000 worth of Bitcoin, and he connected me with the person. So right now I'm in communication with him through Telegram. And I keep responding back and forth. I'm like, so your name is Zay? He's like, yeah, I'm Zay. He's like, go to this. But he sent me to a completely different site. So it's not just that site. You see what I'm saying? It's not whatever site you gave. It's not just that site people are using. They are utilizing the fact that Isaiah is a well-known person. They're doing that with my stuff on Facebook. And I just want to warn everybody who is under the sound of my voice right now that can hear me. Number one, me or Zay will not be asking you for anything over some text message or some communication protocol.
Never ask.
We will never be, because I know there's certain situations where we'll talk to you, but here's the thing: if we're talking to you, we'll probably be on Zoom or on Google Meet or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know Zay, you got a consulting business, right?
Yeah. If I message you, it's probably, hello, how you doing?
Right.
And once you ask a question, I send you the link to schedule time to talk.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
It's not going to be just straight up get money from it. Yeah, go ahead, Crypto Quavo.
Nah, I was about to say this is crazy because the lady this to the right of Rochelle, her name is Nicole. She's a Facebook friend of mine, and she just alerted me of something like this just happening with myself. So right now there's someone that made a fake profile of me, and they're doing the same thing. Nicole, are you able to come off mute?
Yes.
Could you explain what happened this morning when you hit me up on Facebook asking me, was that me?
Well, I got tagged. You always, I get alerts with both of you have two pages, the cryptocurrency page and then your personal page. And so I got an alert, and there were other people. It wasn't just me. There was like 3 or 4 other people, and they asked to send, like, was it half of a Bitcoin or 0.05? I don't even know. It just looked funny because I've been dealing with Quavo for a few years, and I'm just like, this doesn't seem like the normal post. He never usually asks for money. If anything, he's giving stuff away, and if he does ask, it's for consulting to join his program, his groups, and that's like legit because I actually went through one of his. I was confused, so I sent him a message, and then he let it be known that it was a scam. So it just happened like 30 minutes ago, actually.
Yeah, listen. This is what I'm gonna tell y'all right now. This group is being targeted.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Absolutely,
straight up and down.
As we're listening to this, my husband just told me for Zay, he got a new profile that came up this morning. It's called the New Zay.
Hey, this is what
I'm trying to get that blue check now to try and prevent this with Instagram this week, because there's about 6 I've seen so far, and they keep coming.
So this is what's happening. People are in the audience, right? And they see who run this group, like as far as the mods. So what they'll do is they'll go to Facebook or, Instagram, and they'll create a profile that looks exactly like our profile. And then they'll hit up the people that follow us or that we follow and act as us and try to get money. So if they make a fake catfish profile and hit up, 30, 40 people, and 3 people send them money, and they're not doing anything, that's kind of what they're doing. And then they know that there's new people in the audience, so you guys are not going to really know any better. And just like the lady Rochelle said earlier, she thought it was actually Isaiah, but it wasn't him. So you guys have to, I don't know how we can prevent this, but I just know that there's people preying on newbies from this group, because they even took my profile and put Black Bitcoin Billionaires as the hashtag. So
can we aggregate all of the offenses done against people in here, and as a group, everybody who has any social media, we all try to get certified, Twitter, Instagram, like all at once?
Right.
I think we could do it, because if we have people that are actually losing money that they can't get back, we can't. I've been trying to do it on my end, and I'm still waiting. But I think as a group, if they have a bunch of us that say it, this is definitely a security issue.
It's definitely
Lamar.
Because I know. Hold on, I just want to add real quick. I think if someone does, message you in response to a fake account, just ask a lot of questions, because getting more out of them can give you more clues as to how they're planning to attack, or just different ways that people can be aware, because like everyone's bringing these different points. Quavo, you shared what's happened to you. Isaiah, I've actually messaged you where somebody messaged me thinking claiming to be you. So it's just crazy. So if we can just take notes, if you see that someone is messaging you, we have like a history or a track record of the different strategies or different sites that we can kind of tell people to stay away from, because it's going to keep happening. I mean, they've done it with Elon Musk. They've done it with a number of different celebrities. So if you just see some random posts of Kelly Rowland asking for money for some concert that she's supposed to be doing in your city, definitely don't believe it, and don't send any money, bank account information to any of these people. Just to be. I think the biggest scam that they're doing, and the way they're making it, I guess you could say the way they're finessing the people, is this thing that Rochelle said. What did you say about they tell you they flipped your money and now you got to give them some more money to get your money back or something like that? Is that what it is? How was that going again?
Yes, he said that. I asked him, how he benefited out of this, and he said he gets 10% of whatever he makes. And so I said, okay, I'm ready to take my money out. And he was like, well, you have to send me the 10%. I was like, why can't you just, send me my money less than 10%? He said, it doesn't work like that. And so my money was already caught up in it. So I was like, okay, let me just, and then the big thing was that he asked for way more money than the 10%. I'm like, are you kidding me? I was like, I'm not sending you that money. And, then, everything just came as like, okay, this is a scam. He got me, but I definitely wasn't sending him any more money. But yes, he wanted 10% of whatever he made for me.
Okay, listen, you guys. I'm gonna tell y'all this real quick. Hold on, can y'all hear me? Listen, really quick. I'm gonna go through what I did with Fake Zay. He's Fake Zay in my phone. I said, hey, what's up? He said, hi. I said, I heard you are the plug for Bitcoin. He said, yeah. I said, what do I need to get me some? He said, how much do you wish to start with? I said, 5,000. He said, okay. He said, do you have a Bitcoin wallet? I said, yes, Ed. I said, your name is Zay, right? He said, yes. I said, okay. Then he said, okay, register on the platform to get started. And guess what? It is the same platform. So this person's hitting everybody, whoever this is. It says with $5,000 startup, you can get 45% of the capital weekly for 6 weeks. Number one, this is the anatomy of a scam. Number one, you can get 45% of that capital weekly for 6 weeks. The first thing I always say is if that's true, why the heck is he giving it to anybody else? Because as soon as everybody else knows that kind of thing, arbitrage happens and you start losing those returns. So why in the world would he give you 45% a week for the next 6 weeks? That's number one. And it just seems crazy anyway, right? And I said, can I get my money out right away? Do I need Bitcoin? He said, for sure you need Bitcoin to fund your trading account. But here's the part. Number two, he says you can't get profits right away. So we got two big red flags right there for anybody that's watching. Number one, they're giving you returns that are crazy that you don't hear about anywhere in any other financial instrument. They're promising you those returns in a short amount of time, but yet he says I can get 45% for 6 weeks. So if I can't get my money right out, then what is that going to benefit me, right? So then I hit him back and say, huh? And then this is what he says. He said you need some days or weeks to get good profits. So I don't have, that's number three. I don't have control over my funds. So even if I wanted to get them out, I don't have any controls. I can't get it right away. And then I don't even have control over what happens with it once it's in whatever this site is. And so then I said, okay, so then what do I need to do next? They told me again, go to this account, go to the same website. He said, you'll register there. I said, do you own the website? He said, no, but I work for it. I have experience and knowledge of how it works. And then guess what? He comes back because I didn't respond for a while. Have you registered successfully? So what I'm saying is that
that's not me because I don't even talk like that.
I know but Zay, we all know. Listen,
and I'm not going back and forth with anybody either. If anybody knows me about texting, no, that conversation has been over.
It would have been already done. So this is what I'm telling y'all, right? Like the number one thing to do is to basically block and report immediately because Zay or myself are not going to be soliciting you directly.
No, nobody, not me either.
No, definitely none of us up here are going to be soliciting.
Not I.
You know what I'm saying? We're not going to be directly soliciting you, right? Like it's not going. We're going to come in and then we're going to talk to you. And here's the thing: if it's something like for me, right? Sunjoin, we're about to raise again on the 15th. If I send you out a notification and say, "Hey, we're about to raise," you're going to go through a reputable site like WeFunder. You're going to see all the paperwork and the SEC filings and all of this stuff. When you're talking to these sites and there's nothing that's backing them, and you've heard none of us. Here's the big thing too: you've heard none of us talk about them. You're probably in a dangerous place. Do not turn any of your money over to anyone. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's called tuition when you do, and you can't back it up because it's Bitcoin. So just accept the fact that you paid tuition and that you have graduated out of that school. But everyone else, please don't even pay tuition. That school is not accredited. That's not an accredited foundation. You know what I'm saying?
How about I just got off the phone with somebody that just did the same thing?
Yeah, and this is so concerning. You know, I think one of the other things that I want everyone to remember, we want you to be your own bank. We are focusing on your self-empowerment. So we don't need to invest for you. The beauty of Bitcoin is that you can invest for yourself. And we're trying to teach you how to do that. So if anyone is asking you, like, you don't need us to invest for you. We're going to empower you with the information to do it yourself. So if anyone is asking you for your money, you should have a red flag, right? That should be a red flag.
Straight up.
You don't need your money to invest on your behalf. You have the ability to do it yourself. And that's so important to the ethos of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So that just should be an absolute red flag for you. And you know, this is concerning, and I agree with everyone that has said this. This will continue to happen, and we have to push really hard against this because you know they're focusing on vulnerable populations, and We just don't have time to get distracted by all of this cybercrime.
And even
And
more than
also
that, y'all.
remember,
Yeah, go
real
ahead.
fast, can I add something, Lamar? The Nigerian scams, which was basically where a lot of this started, that has been around for a long, long time, and it does evolve. You know, it now we have cryptos, right? So that scam has evolved to the point where now it's coming to our space.
Bro.
But it can be just like the young lady just mentioned. It can be regarding
Monty,
the disaster.
Monty, yeah, I'm gonna say this too.
I'm
I don't
sorry,
want,
Monty.
yeah, I don't want to put Nigerian on it. Like
Okay,
real
but
talk.
take out the word Nigerian, but
No,
remember
no.
the scam concept.
Yeah, for sure.
Itself.
But Monty,
That's not going to change.
Yeah, that wasn't invented by a
Monty.
Nigerian.
But hold on. It's important that we don't. It's the same thing as your boy calling the coronavirus the China virus, right? Like we don't
Right.
want to just put it on a certain group of people because the truth is it might be somebody right next to you, right? It might be somebody in Atlanta.
Yeah.
It might be somebody in Alabama, right? So I don't want to do that. I don't want to put it
Well,
on
no,
a whole group
a lot of
people.
people, a lot of people are familiar with the term. So
No,
we just take off for now.
Absolutely not.
I got
Monty.
it. I got it. Take out the
Monty,
term. I got it.
It's not a term,
Right.
though. I'm absolutely offended by that.
Yeah, that's what. Listen, I put him in the audience because I don't think he was under. He still, even after we tried to explain it to him, he wasn't understanding.
Many of those scams that even put Nigeria on it were coming out of East Europe. Like the part that's so silly about people, if you're literally from a country, you wouldn't put your country. I mean, the hustle. They're gonna say they from Mississippi, and they really from Texas. I mean,
Right.
It's literally for us to be gullible. It plays into self-hate, where we're literally thinking that the person is going to say, "I'm calling from Harlem, and I live in Harlem, so you can better catch me because I'm lying." It doesn't even.
Right.
It doesn't
Exactly.
even meet the rational test. But the only reason I jumped in, I know I'm late, but I got hacked about 50 Bitcoin, and I'm not saying I'm stupid. But I think there's a problem. This is back in 2018, and I'm ashamed about it. But this is something real with the SIM card swaps. So not all the schemes are like as straightforward as somebody trying to get you a join, and you got to be careful. These people will fish when they start seeing your name associated with in the blockchain community. These people are working in groups. It's not just one person. And with the SIM swap, you do need somebody having access to the United States to get that SIM the way you need to get it moved around. But in reality, it's literally people from multiple countries working together to come get us and take our Bitcoin away. And if you don't have your keys, it's not your Bitcoin. So we have our own wallet. So all my Bitcoin, praise God, that was on our wallet, which is a cold wallet. It's not like a ledger, but literally, you have to have your own seed words on our wallet. All my Bitcoin and my own product was super safe. But all the Bitcoin I had on Binance and these other platforms, they were able to, again, and they were able not only to take it, but they send these things through a mixer. So you can't even track these damn addresses, right? Because once they put it in the mixer, it comes in one and goes out the other. You don't know who. So I think, but what I've noticed with a lot of the dominant European Eurocentric groups, they almost make it seem like it's the victim's fault. Let me say another way. You're right. If it's not your keys, it's not your cheese. I love that. Now, but let's be clear. If you break into my house, you're a no good bastard. You're a thief. So of course, I'm not saying that necessarily this is victim blaming, but we do need to hold people accountable the same way if somebody on the street robbed you, you wouldn't just blame me for being robbed on the street. We do need to say that the people who are doing these hackings are some no good bastards. If I met them in the street, I'd try to do something to them. So again, I think there was a long time in this space that it almost made it seem like the people who would do these tricks were somehow not necessarily really criminals. They're just people taking advantage of gullible people. No, you're a thief. And we should not accept that behavior at all. I even saw a grown man start crying when one of these Bitcoin authoritarian people or high, I forget the guy's name. I would say his name out loud, but literally tried to shame this white man in an audience because he got hacked from a SIM swap. And let me just give you another thing. You have an Authy code. If anybody uses Authy, which is great, But make sure you don't have that thing where it can be used by multiple devices. Because when they do that two-factor authentication, what you really are saying is that that phone number is you. And that phone number, if they do the SIM swap, now is going to somebody else, and they don't care what your passwords are. Because they're just going to reset everything because you got two-factor authentication, and they're just going to send it to that their phone because they now have taken over your phone number. These people are very sophisticated at stealing from us. And we definitely need to make it clear that we need to be responsible and not careless. But when we see people or even people intimating that they're involved in anything like this, we have to create an environment where that is unacceptable. And if you do have something bad, we should try to create an environment that people are more sympathetic. Now, I've been in Bitcoin since 2012. I got hacked in 2018, and they took a lot of Bitcoin. And I'm just saying, as you know, like when people it says they're addict, look, did this really happen? Or somebody touched me? I got touched. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to minimize people getting touched, but I'm just saying. So literally, when you're in the space and the more visibility you get, there's going to be people trying to do things because now your name is out there, and they'll trade your name around and have multiple people come after you. And we had to get the Secret Service involved. There's a lot of things that we did to address this issue. But I'm be clear, AT&T and these companies have some real issues that they've not been willing to resolve because it impacts their bottom line, and they don't care. But I just wanted to say that out loud because I heard us talking about people getting harmed. We got to it's unacceptable to rob your brothers and sisters.
Right.
It's unacceptable, period.
Here's the thing too, you guys. One of the ways they get you is with your own greed. Know that when you have Bitcoin, that you have an asset that has appreciated about 200% on an annualized basis since its inception. When people are coming to you telling you they can make you more on top of what already is a good asset, just chill. Because the issue is that if we don't start thinking about the asset in and of itself being what's valuable, and we kind of make more and more and more on top of the asset and think that's the way we're going to get rich, we're going to get hurt a lot. So it's a mindset thing about allowing them to do it. As soon as you see these quote unquote opportunities, the first question you got to ask yourself is, why would they bring it to me? Why me? Like why would they just out of the blue come to me and bring me this wonderful thing? Right? Ask that question, and the second thing you do is report them, block them, and don't let them come back to your page again. Like, really, that's really all it boils down to. Like Sinclair said it. He said, you should not blame the victim, but at the same time, we have to begin to start protecting our homes. If we know we are in a neighborhood where a lot of people are going to attack us, you need to have something set up so that when they come, you ready. And my thing is that just be very careful about chasing and being greedy. Like, that's a virtuous type thing, right? Like, don't be greedy.
Yep.
Real talk.
That's the thing, man. The mindset right there. Like, it's never about, that you can make, a dollar amount. You always got to go at it by looking at the percentage gain, right? So a lot of people, when they get into this space, they want to make a fast dollar. We had the gentleman the other night that was talking about, oh man, if I put $100 in Bitcoin got to go to $100,000 before I can make another 100.
Facts,
bro. It's about the percentage gain. Like, who buys a house and that house makes them 100% on their money the same year? You got a chance with that with Bitcoin, but still.
Hey, Jakuma, you know what's crazy is that guy was talking like 100% wasn't good. He was,
right.
I know, right? Yeah, that was just, man.
Like he was getting it every day. Like that's what he was getting every day.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. But that's the thing.
We battling it. Don't try it.
Hey, and I'm gonna say this too while we on this subject. Not all, but some of these alternative coins are a scam also. And just because nobody hitting you up in your inbox and making you buy some of these altcoins, it's the same exact thing. Your money sit there, and next thing you know, your money is diminished. So you got to do your research on these things, even if it's somebody offering you something. If somebody's selling you a service or you buying some type of service, that is great, fine, and dandy as long as you do your due diligence. But if somebody is asking you to send them your money that you're going to invest with, that is a red flag. You don't need to send nobody your money that you plan to put in the market, because that is the perk of Bitcoin. You can manage and you can oversee your own account, and you don't have to give anybody the keys or access to your bank account or your crypto accounts, period, whenever you're just invested in Bitcoin.
On the altcoin tip, they're not in your inbox, but they got Snoop Dogg telling you to buy it.
Or like you that's a thing. That's a thing, because some of these people might take a monetary gain, and we don't know that, but we're looking at him like, oh, this is Snoop Dogg. I look up to him, and he's pushing this coin that doesn't do anybody any good, but he's gotten some type of deal under the table that we don't know about.
But I just wanted to add on to the altcoin and the ICO era that we all have gone through. Literally, it became so difficult, and this is just a small, it's not all, but we've met some of these folks who are behind these projects, and they're no smarter than anybody on this call. One of the things, once it got so difficult to mine, folks stopped chasing the ASIC chips. They stopped chasing it, and what they found out, it would be easier to put a white paper together, say that you got a token, have people send you their Bitcoin in exchange for your fake ass token. And literally, a real white paper, a real so-called, but it literally was, instead of them putting that money in and buying some miners, mining equipment, they literally said it's easier to tell somebody I got Carcoin, they send me their Bitcoin, I send them my fakey coin. And when I say fake, it still could have a real software behind it. It really could have a real algorithm. So when I say it's not fake in the sense that it doesn't exist. So again, it's just like hustles, though. There's going to be something there.
Exactly.
So somebody to tell you that, well, no, you don't understand. The biggest power you're going to see is what Lamar and Isaiah. Let me just tell you, and I say this humbly, when you do things in love, these things are going to have waves. Bitcoin's going to go up and it's going to go down. But people who really get that realize that the real decentralized network was us the whole time. It never was gold. It never was the dollar. The people who built the pyramid were people. Gold didn't build the pyramids. All the things we know about science came from us and our relationship. So the biggest thing that you're going to really take from this world, this moment, is each other. And so you should never commodify each other. All of us are worth more than damn Bitcoin. I give a damn about some Bitcoin. This experience of meeting and being around some of the best people of a generation, I could have hodled from 2012 on. But I'm just saying, would I want to be in my bathroom with my underwear on, sitting around waiting for Bitcoin to go? No, you got to live your life. But I'm just saying, in a real way, know there's people who are taking advantage of that and who are coming up with elaborate schemes, and they literally are never going to say that this token was not built to ever be utilized for anything but to take your Bitcoin, because that's the most successful blockchain project that's ever been. So again, just be mindful that people talk about Trons and all those people, when you meet them, they're very average people. They just got caught up in a hustle. And just like how the dollar is so powerful, it's really, some of this is connected, and y'all know I'm on that black stuff, it's connected to white supremacist ideology. Because we see a white guy, he looks a little nerdy, or even an Asian person look a little nerdy, we somehow think that their project is somehow, and their white paper, which they did just cut and pasted from all the gazillion white papers out there, is somebody credible. But then we'll have like a sister with the guac coin who's really busting her behind to build this in spite of all the white supremacy and misogyny and sexism. And we won't give her project. Look, most of these projects going to fail, but we're not going to at least invest in that sister's project and that brother's project, because literally they are trying to build something. So again, I'm not trying to pick winners. I'm just trying to talk about a mentality that we are the ones that we were. It wasn't Bitcoin anyway. It was just the thing that got us in this room together. And what Brother Lamar, what Brother Isaiah and Sister Naja, these things are the things that are going to help us, no matter if we have Bitcoin or not, if we really understand this moment and not miss it. That's all. I'm sorry.
Hey, I think one thing that got a lot of people sucked in, Sinclair, is the not only the flashy white papers, but the team. I hear a lot of people, that's the first thing they say. Oh, they got such and such on their team. Oh, such and such is on their board. But then people don't actually live up to what they're actually saying their title is. It's just a picture. It's just a little synopsis, a little bio. And that was enough to get people to send their Bitcoin to this ICO, to this random address that they didn't even know where it was going.
Yeah, but you're seeing the same thing with the startup world. We've seen that. All of us who built in this blockchain space have seen some Europeans with some shit. Excuse me, some terrible stuff, but they'll vouch for each other, bro. Like literally, the tech space, the clubhouse that we're on right now, it literally is a group of white folks validating each other and putting this together. Were there black folks with a clubhouse? Yes. Did they get funding? No. So this stuff has been a hustle on a lot of levels that, again, we get to see it since you get to see money is so close to the technology of blockchain. But literally, if you look at any of these social type startups, there's been black folks trying to build all these things better, but they won't get the people on the team. And the hustle.
Hey,
I don't know what that was.
Shut up your fucking mouth.
Hey, don't kick him. 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 Hold on. Let me bring him back up here real quick. Hey, come on, come back up. Hey, man.
Yeah, but
hey, hold on, Sinclair, hold on. Hey, man, what's going on? Hold on. Hey, man, I gotta ask you a question.
Hold on.
Hey, man, I gotta ask you a question. I'm gonna give you a chance to talk. All right. My question is this. My question is this. Hold on. I'm gonna give you a chance to talk, brother. Listen. My question. My question. Yeah. My question is to you. My question is to you. Like, why do you feel like you need to waste your time and waste part of your life to come up and do something like that? Like, you literally, your time is valuable, but yet you come on stage to yell and scream just to get attention. Like, do you not value your own life? Do you not value your own time? You understand what I'm saying? Like, bro, like there's something in your life right now that you're missing. You know what I'm saying? There's something in your life you're missing right now. And so my whole thing is that I'm trying to get you to understand that your time is valuable. And so you coming to do that is not a good use of your time. You could be doing something to make your family better. You could be doing something right now to make you better. So coming up on stage and yelling and screaming and trying to get attention and jumping off stage, that's not going to help you in the future, bro. So what I'm saying is that you are welcome to be a part of the Black Bitcoin Billionaires, but I also want you to realize how valuable your time is. And that every time you come up and do things like that and jump in another room and you might think it's fun, you're basically wasting your life. And there's so much life to be lived, man. There's so much love to give, man. You understand what I'm saying, brother? So I'm gonna let you say something. Go on, man. What's going on?
So much.
Go on, let him talk. Let my man talk. Let him get it out. Whatever he got to say, go on and get it out, bro. You'll probably say something crazy unless you really actually understand what I was telling you from a place of love, brother. Now go on, let him get it out. Go ahead, amen.
I'm leaving, boy.
Are you leaving? Okay, that's exactly. See what I'm saying? That's how it works, because he understands.
Yeah, look at that, dog. You got that Midas touch.
No, I'm just saying. No, but look.
That's what I'm talking about, right? That's why you're the moderator leading this group, man.
Go ahead,
yeah, I was about to get kicked off because I was going to start cursing. You said me, Lamar. Y'all about to block me, man. You ain't going to just disrespect.
Hey, look. You see how that gentle giant mindset is, though? That's the way we all gotta be.
Lamar,
It's about
I'm pretty sure.
love.
I'm pretty sure 90% of the people on the stage would have had the same reaction to Sinclair, like, get this motherfucker out of here, you know. But that was a learning experience for me because I had to listen to that too, and it actually made a difference. It made the guy think about what he was doing.
May I please say something?
Yeah.
My name is Nicole. I'm new to Clubhouse, thanks to Quavis. I wanted to. I hate to go back real quick, but Naja. I'm located. Did I say your name right? Please forgive me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
So I'm located in Los Angeles, and I'm a publicist and a program director, and I also just got my professional grant writer certification. I'm working on a few projects with Los Angeles Unified School District. I sent you a little message, and I'd love to connect with the group as a whole now that I have this grant writer certification, because there's a lot of money out there. Especially for Black businesses, women-owned businesses, veterans. and a lot of people just don't know how to get to it, but they throwing it at people right now. So I love to work together with these kids because I have a program already going on, and just let me know if you'd like to connect. I'm also part of on the committee for 100 Black Men Los Angeles, which is also part of the national chapter of 100 Black Men, national organization. I love to speak with any prominent Black men that would love to mentor young Black men. It's all Zoom right now because of everything that's going on, but I love to connect with anyone who's interested in working with the kids behind the scenes and also just helping our community to grow and manifest and learn, how to create, because we're manifestors and we are creators, and not everybody realizes that why we're here.
All I gotta say, sisters, where you been all my life?
I'm in the cut. I'm real low key because, I don't know who said it earlier, but whoever you're connected with, I work behind the scenes in the industry. I'm also an artist. Previously, I'm a professional face painter, celebrity face painter. Nicole Face Paints is my Instagram page, but that's not linked on this Clubhouse. But with COVID, it shut down all my events, my corporate contracts, everything got put on hold. So I have some friends in the industry that pulled me in to do some PR, got exposed. I really was not happy with what I was already in the industry. I did some modeling back in the day, but now it's just really bad behind the scenes spiritually. And I'm just trying to stay low key because it's real dark, real dark behind the scenes. And I'm just doing God's work here and there. I have some plugs also in the health community. I'm working with a client, natural holistic healthcare, and we have Tesla energy lights, the actual Tesla machine. She has that. I love it. It's amazing. If anyone's out in Los Angeles, hit me up. We do colonics, ionization foot detox. We do blood cell analysis. You need to know your blood type because a lot of people are killing themselves because they're eating the wrong things because your blood type is not compatible. So that's another conversation for another group, but I just wanted to put it out there. I haven't really built up my profile for Clubhouse yet, so it's looking real dry. But
hey,
let me
Nicole,
know.
I'm gonna need you to get that profile squared away because you were nominated by me, so we got to make it look good on here. And feel free to connect with Miss Naja and Lamar and any of the mods in here. These guys are definitely, I would co-sign them. They're just as good as I am. So I would definitely connect with Miss Naja as well. She's actually in the Los Angeles area too.
Yeah, I
and Lamar.
appreciate that. I mean, I really like to work with OnQ. If you're interested, I really like to connect you with the 100 Black Men. Bring you on.
Sis, I'm here. Let's roll. We can
because I got some
today.
stuff going on right now, and I can't, with NDAs and everything, I can't release who I have coming out that I'm working with. But I would really love to just. I'm super low key, and I do need to work on, I help other people build their social media behind the scenes. With PR, that's a different department, but I'm really just how I got hit up with Q, they trying to get money, and I see what he's doing, and I'm just that's type of stuff, people get in your business. So I have a love-hate relationship, but I like to put other people out there. And I will work on that, Q. I'm definitely going to be on that this week. But everyone, please, let's connect because I love to grow and get this funding. There's a lot of money out there. And my professor that I just got the certification from, he said, yes.
Miss Nicole, we have some questions on Facebook and everything. I'm sorry, this is just the wrong timing. Just because.
Oh, I apologize.
Yeah, this is the Genesis block. You have a lot of people behind you. So yeah, go ahead and finish the sentence. I don't have any Oscar music to play in the background, so I just had to.
I was wondering when you was gonna come after. Yeah, I knew he was coming, bro.
Yeah, because we got a show that we actually are running right now. We got 20 minutes left, and there are people that have questions and things like that on stage and in the crowd. So yeah, I'm glad you were able to connect with Miss Naj. She is amazing. And if you go to jobs.blackbitcoinbillionaireeverybody.com, Miss Naja has a lot of her jobs up there. So if you guys want to go work with Miss Naja, she's hiring. But yeah,
I'm not trying to work. I'm trying to build a network of you guys for us to all connect as Black Coin Billionaires. I'd like to do a program where we can
No, I'm with you on that too. Yeah, I'm with you on that too. Especially because my man Quavis. You know what I'm saying? So we all connected. The fact that you're here, we all connected. But I just want to make sure we give the people who jumped on stage to get going. You know what I'm saying?
My apologies. I didn't mean to take up.
Oh, no worries. No worries.
My apologies to everyone.
I followed you.
I'm following you too. I'm ready to follow you too.
You good?
You good, Nicole? Hey, Lamar, can I say something really quickly about this financial crimes, the fraud issue?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I just wanted to just mention this. So, and Sinclair made the point already that the story that we heard from Rochelle, it really is fraud and it's serious. And so I just want to implore everyone to take it seriously. So if you have been in this situation, please, you need to report these things to their couple of federal agencies that track this stuff and that can prosecute. So SEC.gov, they actually track investment fraud. You can also go to consumerfinance.gov. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, they track any financial services organization that's a bad actor. Reporting these things are super important, and I love the idea of having us kind of as Black Bitcoin billionaires track these organizations, because we need to just monitor it. So I worked for a federal regulator at one point in my career, so I know that's a non-traditional perspective that you're going to hear among people that support Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, but it is incredibly important for you to share the perspective of these financial crimes so that they can be prosecuted effectively. So I just wanted to share that. Rochelle, I hope that you heed that. Please block them on Instagram, block them on Facebook, but also report them to the agencies so that they can be prosecuted effectively.
Thank you very much for that, Michelle.
Can I chime in real quick on that?
Hold on, because if we keep chiming in, nobody's gonna get their questions off, y'all. So at least give us the 20 minutes that left that the people on Facebook and everything are trying to get down with, and then after that we can be wide open on. Y'all know what we do after that? It's like an after show, and we stay here till Miss Naja wants to leave. So can we
back to Facebook?
Yeah,
Let's go, Lamar. Back to Facebook.
Okay, so somebody's question was, when is the next Bitcoin opening? So does anybody know what that means? Like, when is the next
halving?
Maybe?
I think they mean halving.
Do they think they mean halving? So the next halving will be in 2024, I believe.
That is correct.
Yeah, 2020, around 2024. It should be around that time based on the number of blocks.
And if you're listening and you need to know what the halving period is, I'll explain it in Crypto Virgins today at 12 noon Pacific. We'll explain it.
Okay, so back to Clubhouse.
All right, I tried to pull the refresh. Sorry about that. Price, next to the stage, sir. Welcome to the stage.
Thanks. Good conversation today. I guess I'll keep it quick to a question. My question was, as far as like putting Bitcoin reserves on either a nonprofit, a church, or for that matter, a small business like a cooperative or a small LLC. I mean, what kind of things would you recommend if it's not a sole proprietorship, but the small business or the church or the nonprofit wants to have Bitcoin as a reserve?
I think what it is that, number one, especially if you're in a organization that has several people. Churches usually have trustees, people that they trust with things, with the mortgage and that kind of thing. And a lot of companies and a lot of different organizations have their boards. And so what you would do is that you would probably come up with some sort of way to make sure that the board had a certain number of keys and there was a multi-sig wallet. And then it will be very easy, because once you have that multi-sig wallet, then you can just continue to put coins into that wallet, and based on that multi-sig setup that you all have, you can protect those coins using that multi-sig. So you might have it where it's 5 of 9 people have to sign to move the coins and that kind of thing, and that way you can keep those coins in treasury for a very long time safely. You can use, and by the way, we have a sponsorship or a partnership, a supportership, like we say. We have a supportership with a company called Keys.Casa, or Casa, which is a multi-sig wallet that would probably work really, really well if any organizations wanted to do that. And as a matter of fact, we have a discount right now with them for if you use the coupon code BBB. So if you use the coupon code BBB and you're one of these organizations that wants to start doing some treasury, holding your Bitcoins in treasury, you can go to keys.casa and use the code BBB to get a discount on their services. So that's a really good question.
Thanks. That was very helpful.
All right. Okay, I'm sorry, Miss Naya.
I'm sorry, Facebook. I'm listening to you. I done zoned out. Facebook.
So I see there's people on Facebook are helping people. So Miss Tony said I never got my Satoshis. So and I want to speak to that because we're getting this a lot, right?
Wait. Before you answer Tony,
Yes,
ask her
ma'am.
if she's a Washington High School graduate.
Tony, are you know that it's gonna come back so slow, it's delayed. Are you a Washington High School graduate? So I said it, so we'll see if she answers. But Miss Tony says she never got her Satoshis. I just want to let everybody know out there, our ambassadors are working hard, like really hard. They have sent out enough coins to hit almost probably 12,000 people, like 12,000 families. And this is just a few hundred, not even a few hundred, 100 or so ambassadors working this hard and me trying to get it to them. The problem is that what they're finding is when they're sending the coins, people are either not accepting them, they're allowing them to expire. So you may have gotten your coins, but you got to make sure you accept them. Because a lot of people aren't accepting their coins. We're sending them out and people aren't accepting them. And they sending them back to me. And so I'm like, gosh, that means I got to resend them back out again, right? So please, if you're a part of the Satoshi Millionaire Challenge, please accept your coins. We have not stopped that. If you go to blackbitcoinbillionaire.com and you sign up, and then you come back after you sign up and go to the Satoshi Millionaire page, please put your name in there. If you've already signed up, please don't do it again. But if you've never signed up, please do that. Send it to all your family and friends because our ambassadors, they want more people to send these coins to. We're trying to hit at least 100,000 families. That's our goal, is to hit 100,000 families, and we're doing really, really well for the small team that we have. You guys just got to accept the coins. So if you think you didn't get them, Miss Tony, do me a favor and here, drop your. She said, and yeah, that's not the Washington Heights person. But if you think you didn't get them, drop your cash tag right now, Tony, in the comments, and I'll go look and see what's going on. Okay. But yeah, back to you, Miss Nasha.
All right. Next on the stage at Clubhouse, we have Craig. Craig, welcome to the stage.
Ooh, man. All glory to God. Well, I want to thank you, folks. You're doing an excellent job. I like what you're doing for our people, young and old. I think it's something that's been long overdue. It's always been a passion of mine, and I always made the mistake of not allowing my father to stop me from doing what I was supposed to do, and that is be a civil rights activist. While I was sitting up here listening to you, I was not arguing, but trying to teach somebody about what it is to be black in America. And I think he got the point. But anyway, my question is, I got to get my heart rate down because it really went up. My question is, we were talking earlier about nonprofits and with the Bitcoin and how you can give some of your money to the nonprofits as a tax write-off. Now, with the nonprofit not being able to actively, I should say, could they actually be a member of Bitcoin and the money stay within that nonprofit and never be taxed? If they made their money from Bitcoin, can they do that legally?
I don't know if CJ's still here, the CPA.
No, I'm here. I'm trying to. I guess I'm not really understanding.
Okay. Well, here's what I was thinking, because one of the things I'm just starting up with my businesses and everything, but one of the things that I want to do is I'm going to take 10% of all my profits to give back to the community. And I was thinking that and if I had a Bitcoin and I gave it all to the nonprofit, I could take that nonprofit to do, like the people that are doing things with with the clubs for the young kids that they were talking about, but that I could set up something for our young adults, because I too want to teach our young adults about how to handle money, because we never learned. We were never taught growing up. And so I was wondering, as a nonprofit, can that nonprofit have a Bitcoin account and keep all its proceeds right there, as long as all the proceeds were used, for the community?
Yes, that's exactly what it's used for. So, say if you take you work a job, let's just say you make $100,000 a year, 10% of that you donate. That is, for the majority of it, that's itemization, which is the third best type of write-off. It's not the first, it's not the second, it's the third type. However, if you donate crypto, it eliminates that capital gains tax. So it's actually good to send your crypto and then send that to your nonprofit. The nonprofit then receives it at the adjusted basis, but you don't have to pay a capital gains tax because you donated it. And then as long as the funds are used towards the purpose of the operating agreement that you created the nonprofit under, then there's no taxes on that as well.
Okay. Thank you very much. We need to make a march on Washington. You people got me fired up. I'm done.
Hey, Craig, I'm gonna say it like this. What you mean, you people?
Well, can I just say something real quick, Lamar?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say that traditionally, if you understand our people and understand, the reason they gave it churches is because traditionally churches have been the ones who set up the homeless, right? Set up trainings, set up those different types of things. So it's not something new that we're necessarily doing. It's just that we used to go through one vehicle to do these same things. And that's why people so heavily gave to churches, you know what I mean? And obviously part of the responsibility of the church is to make sure that the church is still handling that business, taking care of the poor, educating people, making sure that communities are being taken care of, standing up for communities, that kind of thing. And so I just wanted to put that out there for people. This is not a new enlightenment. It's just different vehicles because sometimes they've not always held up their end of the bargain,
So
all right. Well, thank you. Oh,
no, back to Facebook, right?
yes. Back to Facebook.
Thank you, Miss Naja. Miss Naja's cold-blooded. That's my people's right there. Because back on Facebook, somebody's asking, what's the purpose of a Satoshi? So listen, we have people from all kinds of educational, from a cryptocurrency standpoint, educational backgrounds. And what a Satoshi is, it is the smallest denomination of a Bitcoin. So when you say Satoshi, you're still talking about Bitcoin. In the same way as if you say pennies, you're still talking about dollars, right? So there are 100 pennies in a dollar. There are 100 million Satoshis in a Bitcoin. And then his next follow-up statement was, I'm ready for Satoshis. So if he go and check your Cash App, sir, and you should have some Satoshis in there, brother. I sent you some from our Black Bitcoin Billionaire Fund. And I just want to let everybody know this. I'm going to start trying to make a Bitcoin, a Satoshi millionaire on every second Genesis block. So I'm going to figure out some way to make it like a drawing, or if you're out here listening, you got to be listening at the time or whatever. But I'm going to start making somebody a Satoshi millionaire every other Genesis block. So y'all stick around for that. Because we're going to get these coins out here one way or the other. So just know that is going to be my mission, is to make 2 Satoshi millionaires a month if we can. If we actually can get that done. For at least a little bit of time, right? I can't ever do anything indefinitely, but I definitely want to try to make a few people Satoshi millionaires, especially you guys that are loyal to coming through to the Genesis block. So I'm putting that out there. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but we're going to do it. All right. But that was the question. He just asked, what are the Satoshis for?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that was phenomenal. And next we have Valo to the stage. Welcome to the stage, Valo.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to quickly say that Lamar was talking about how this is a network, and I had a fake Zay reach out to me, and I just DM Fred, Bitcoin vegan. I reached out to Zay on Twitter. So I just ran it through this actual network to make sure, so if you have anything suspicious like that, feel free to run it through any one of these mods on the stage. They're amazing. My question is to CJ. I think I heard someone say sending Bitcoin is a taxable event. So if I send somebody like $5-10 in Bitcoin, is that a taxable event?
Not if it's a gift. Gifts are not taxable. However, a lot of times what happens is if you send it from a wallet like a Coinbase or some type of exchange, they don't know that it's a gift. Therefore, that may be included as a taxable event on your 1099. So you just want to make sure that in your self-custody ledger that you make sure that you point it out as a gift, so that if your tax that you're reporting to the IRS, that you're giving to the IRS, is lower than what your 1099 is, and they ask you for documentation, you have that prepared. But no, sending it is not an actual taxable event. If it's for a gift, if it's for goods or services, then it is.
Thank you so much. Be safe out here.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, next to the stage, we have question on Facebook.
Yes,
question
ma'am.
on Facebook. There we go.
It's the last question on Facebook because we only have like 5 minutes left. So Miss Melissa McKnight-Forney says, can the nonprofit have their own bank? Like, can the nonprofit have their own bank? I know that was yeah. Go ahead.
That was Melissa Forney.
Yes, Melissa McKnight-Forney.
Oh, okay. Big shout out to her.
So I would normally say moderator number 1, but I'm gonna just tell everybody in the Black Bitcoin Billionaires to just hold on about another 30 days, because something is coming where you all will be able to be your own bank, have your own bank, and do some other things in the cryptocurrency space. As the sister said, I'm under non-disclosure agreement, but I'm gonna disclose that there is something coming that is going to help this entire community do something that we've never seen before, and it involves the cryptocurrency space. So I'm super excited about it, and I just want to share that. So you all just stay tuned.
Yes, and to answer Miss Melissa's question, many credit unions are set up like cooperatives. So I guess you could probably make a credit union a nonprofit, but I don't think there's anything that stops anybody from being a bank as long as you're not taking deposits. Like, I think anybody can pretty much lend to somebody else. You can have your own bank in that way, right? I guess. Listen, don't listen to me. That's fine. That's a lawyer. But I know I know that about the credit unions. I know credit unions are usually set up as cooperatives, and where all the members actually own a piece of the credit union. But yeah, hopefully that might have answered her question. Otherwise, yeah, she's over here LOLing at me. Otherwise, go find a lawyer, Miss Melissa. We not over here doing free work for you. No, I'm just playing. But here, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead because that was a good way to close Facebook. Melissa, thank you for that question, sister. So guess what? This is the Black Bitcoin Billionaires Club. We loved having you today here on the Genesis Block Live. It is so awesome to be here today, to have the wonderful conversation we had. I think it was extremely organic today, which felt really good, to be honest with you. We tend to have a kind of a set schedule, but today I think it was good for us to be organic because I think we helped protect a few people. And as you can see, a lot of people are still getting hit up by fake Zays and fake Lamars. Just remember, none of us will be asking you for any coins. And if we do, you tell them, look, let's get on a video chat and make sure you see people straightforward, right? Make sure you see me, make sure you see Zay, make sure you hear our voices, those kind of things, right? And outside of that, man, like, I just want y'all to just keep doing what you're doing. The Satoshi Millionaire Challenge is still going on. It might not be Black Future Month right now, like from what we were calling from February, but it's always Black Future Month because we're always looking out into the future and how we can use this technology to help everyone of us that have been oppressed by this system that we live in. So it's really good being here, like I said, and I'm about to get off of here. And what I normally say on Facebook is live love, love life. If you live love, you'll love your life. And I'll see you guys next week on the Genesis Block at 11 a.m. See ya.